of the new quad of St. John's, built in 1830. The man who designed it, Henry Hutchinson, he was obsessed with symmetry. He became so obsessed, he made that whole building completely symmetrical, apart from the eagle on top of the doorway, which is south facing. It's looking away from their enemy, Trinity College. That was just there on my left. And these two, they have been ancient enemies now for about 500 years, dating all the way back to King Henry VIII. The whole of St. John's, castle-looking building there, that's all now completely used as student accommodation. It's a pretty cool place to live.
St. John's College is now up ahead of us on the left.
Correct. One more thing. Do you all know what time?
Wrong way.
So now on my left we've got Trinity College. Trinity, they're the richest and the most prestigious college in Cambridge. And that's all because the founder, King Henry VIII, he left them so much money and land in his will. So this college, they're now the third richest landowner in the whole of the UK, with an estimated net worth of £2.2 billion. This is the place where Sir Isaac Newton studied. It's where A.A. Mills studied, the writer of Winnie the Pooh, and where the current king, King Charles III, studied. On the top floor there, where those stained glass windows are, you've got the Wren Library. That's the library of Trinity College, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. Inside there you've got some very rare first edition books. You've got Sir Isaac Newton's Principles of Mathematica in there. You've got handwritten poetry by Lord Byron, and probably the coolest and most important book, the first ever Winnie the Pooh edition book, now said to be worth over £1 million. So Trinity, they're seen as a bit of a powerhouse college, not just because of their wealth, but because they've won nearly a third of all Nobel Prizes ever given out. More than the whole of Oxford put together. So just another reason why Cambridge is just that bit better. That's it, you've gone through. You see guys, when you book with Ryanair, you just get this sort of experience. Thankfully you guys book the British Airways. We don't have that sort of problem, we just sort of go through or go around it. But you can see what happens when, you know, cheap and cheerful, not always cheerful though. So guys, here's we've got Trinity Punt Station. Okay. Before the punt station, it used to be a brewery. So back in the early 1800s, there was a shortage of clean water in Cambridge. And you couldn't drink the river water here. It was just too dirty. The only way you could drink it was by turning it into beer. So if you were a student of Cambridge back then, they used to give you free beer as your drink. Now a student getting free beer. That sounds pretty amazing to me. I certainly wouldn't complain. The only problem was, because they were using different parts of the river water to create the beer, sometimes it was coming out at a 1 or 2% strength, so not a big problem. Other times it was coming out closer to a 10 or a 12% strength. Now at this point, the college grades began to drop, and they dropped very dramatically. So the university had to find a way of limiting the amount their students are drinking and fast. But it does some fun while it lasted.
About butterflies at school. We're filming the butterflies by David Attenborough in black and white, believe it or not.
To the left now, guys, we've got Clare College. Clare is the oldest college on the river and the second oldest college in Cambridge. Originally being founded way back in 1326 by a woman named Lady Elizabeth de Clare. She was one of the richest women ever to have lived, and when she died, she left most of her land and wealth to Clare College. Clare is now most famous for having Sir David What the fuck have I done with my life?
Yeah, no, you're right, Phil. I like that.
I'll have an empty.
I do watch that to my dad at 40 years old.
Well, my first came in really short.
I like that. He's going to ask his parents for help.
We are now coming up to King's College on the left here, guys. King's, the postcard of Cambridge, the most famous college on the river. Founded originally in 1441 by King Henry VI. You've got King's Chapel there, the second largest chapel in the world, and the largest chapel in England. Then next to it, you have the big white building, the Gibbs Building, built in 1740 and designed by a man named James Gibbs. This man, he wrote a book on his design. The book made its way over to the American shores. America don't like the book so much, they used it as inspiration when designing the White House. This is why that building and the White House there, they look pretty similar. Now guys, anyone fancies a drink, we are passing the floating bars on the left. If anyone wants anything, just let them know.